Hey guys, I'm here. Welcome back for episode 6 of Netflix's live-action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. In the last episode, Aang, Sokka, and Katara find themselves trapped in the spirit world as Katara and Sokka kind of split off and get lost in the fog of lost souls. They find themselves falling prey to Ko, the face stealer. Meanwhile, Aang manages to make it through and comes upon a hut that houses none other than Gyatso, whose spirit has stayed behind in the hopes of eventually running into Aang so that they could commune once more. And after they share this nice little moment, he learns that in order to save Katara and Sokka from Ko, he needs to go find and commune with Roku at the Fire Temple in order to figure out what he knows about Ko in order to help free them and save them before, he consumes them. Which is an interesting decision, but the episode then ends with Aang leaving the spirit world and heading off to go to that temple to meet with Roku so that he can go back and save his friends. But with that all said, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump in. If you want to see the full-length reaction, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you got a member of the channel, get you access as well. It is a watch-along format, so you will need your own footage to sync up the time codes to bring you actually the entire episode. Over there, you get the same thing for all the other shows and movies that we cover on the channel. You also get to suggest and vote on what movies to react to each month. We got monthly Q&As, behind-the-scenes footage to try to make it worth your while. So you're going to wait support channel. But guys, at the end of the day, I really appreciate it. Enjoy this reaction. At least leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already, because it really goes a long way with helping these videos out. And with that all said and down the way, let's go ahead and hop into episode 6, Masks. Here we go.
We spend so much time hiding who we really are, so it's hard to remember there was a time when we were actually excited to show the world our true face. Very impressive. There. Perfect.
What is it?
Nothing.
Tell me.
Your gauntlets are laced incorrectly, but no one will notice.
What? Help me fix it.
I remember my first war council meeting. They were small
No.
affairs back then. Ozai, however, seems to enjoy having an audience.
Father says he welcomes different opinions.
I'd advise against testing that. Best to observe and learn for now.
That's good advice.
How do I look?
No.
Like a prince.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
Who changed the heading?
We were given new orders.
New orders by who?
By me.
I am in charge of this mission. I am the commander of this ship.
And I
am an admiral.
admiral.
Fuck.
A few personnel changes I'd like to make. Until then, carry on.
Jeez. He's really good, man.
What's happened?
Lieutenant G, resume our original course.
Can't do that, man.
Lieutenant, do you know what the punishment for mutiny is?
I do, and that's why I can't do what you say. Admiral Zhao was very clear with these orders and what would happen if we didn't follow them.
Are you seriously gonna let this spineless slug tell us what to do? He doesn't know what's at stake. Can't let him come in and take it all away. Not after everything we've been through.
Aww.
He doesn't care what we've had to sacrifice because he's never had to sacrifice anything. And if you ask anyone here, they'll tell you he may be a prince, but he's not our prince.
Finally. Told you this shit was gonna bite you in the ass.
He knows far more about sacrifice than you can ever know.
Crescent Island. So maybe instead Aang gets captured here.
Greetings,
Fire
Fire
sages.
My name is Aang, and I'm here to visit the shrine of Avatar Roku. You see, I'm the Avatar.
We know.
Wait!
After him!
I'm a friend. This will take us to Avatar Roku Shrine.
So in the end, Zuko doing that thing with the scarf really didn't matter.
The great sage and the others believe the Fire Lord is our true spiritual leader. They have lost their way.
I need to make contact with Avatar Roku. He's the only one who can tell me how to save my friends.
I will hold them off for as long as I can.
Step aside,
I can't do that.
then you shall burn, along along with the rest of the non-believers.
He couldn't have been like, hey guys, he went that way. He didn't have to just walk out.
Who dares disturb the peace of the Avatar?
The Avatar.
Is it not customary to bow before your elders?
Fuck.
And to avert your eyes?
Is he just fucking with him?
Hop on one leg?
Yeah, he's fucking with them.
Forgive me! I couldn't resist. It's good to see you, Aang. Thought you would come to seek my advice sooner.
Yeah, me too.
Avatar Kyoshi told me that I need to figure things out on my own.
Kyoshi has always been kind of...
What the
Right,
fuck?
we'd all be like that.
We share the same spark, but we are our own people. But like Kyoshi, I am here to aid you in your journey. Anything you need.
It has to do with Ko.
Anything but that.
He's captured my friends, and if I don't do something, I'll be lost forever. I heard you defeated him once.
No, I never defeated him. I only managed to take something from him.
What did you take?
The pennant belonged to the Mother of Faces,
Oh, interesting.
and she is Ko's mother. Ko longs for the same thing we all do. Family.
Sounds like something he'd be willing to trade for.
I hope that you're able to save your friends, but the truth is, for the Avatar, friends can be a liability. The Avatar has to make the impossible choices, placing the world's needs ahead of your needs. On that, Kyoshi and I agree. Trust me, it'll save you and the ones you love a lot of pain.
Honestly, I'm surprised they brought up the Mother of Faces thing. Because that's from the comics.
What happened to them?
Zhao. Oh, no, June. Yo. Scent vision.
Everything's gonna be fine.
You did it. You actually got him.
Feel free to count it,
I trust you. You know why?
because if there's any missing, you'll come after us.
Because you're so cute.
My friends are in danger, and I'm the only one who can save them. If I don't return soon, I'll lose them forever. Do you know what it's like to have people depending on you? To have someone's life in your hands?
I do.
Then please, let me save them.
No.
You couldn't have always been this way. What happened to you?
The Earth Kingdom's forces are concentrated along the southern coast. We tried flanking them, but they keep lengthening the line.
Zuko, what would you do?
Horn's tactic. Enveloping flanks, leaving an escape route to draw them out.
Didn't you hear the general? They're protected by cliffs on one side.
No, he was not paying attention.
Tundra tanks. to
He
come
was
over the top.
daydreaming.
They're earthbenders. Our tanks would be buried under rocks in seconds. General.
We could advance a division here.
If you send them into the heart of the forces, how will they retreat?
They won't.
But they'll be lost. You're gonna sacrifice them.
Sacrifice is a part of war. What division do you suggest?
The 41st. They're mostly new recruits. They're expendable. Little boys should know better than to play at war.
It's a terrible plan.
Oh.
There is only one way to resolve this. Agni Kai.
I like the way they built that scene up.
Someone's out there.
Oh. Zhao's probably... Yeah. Here.
You're in defiance of my orders. By disrespecting me, you're dishonoring your father.
Again.
We'll take the Avatar.
Over my dead body.
Tempting. However...
Oh!
Yuyan archers. It's said they can shoot the wings off a glowfly from 1,000 paces. I imagine This shouldn't be much of a challenge for them.
Where will you take him?
Howai's stronghold for the night, then straight to Capital City.
He knows attacking it would be suicide. Entire armies have tried and failed. Not only that, but Pohai lies inside Fire Nation borders.
I don't care.
But Ozai does. And if he finds out,
But the Avatar
he's lost! For now. Right now, Zhao has the upper hand. But sooner or later, he'll make a mistake. And that's when we can make our move.
Damn. Zhao's so underhanded, man. I love it. I don't know. Something way about this actor delivering all these lines, it just makes it hurt so much more. He's so enjoyable to watch. Again, it's a very different representation of Zhao, but all the important aspects still kind of shine through.
If I were you, I'd be thinking less about my past and more about my future.
It's not my future I'm worried about.
Really? I mean, I'd worry a little. Oh, you won't be killed. You die, you'll just be reborn. We'd have to begin our search for the Avatar all over again, so you'll live, though not well.
The way he just laughs, cackles, and then gets enjoyment out of his cruelty is I don't know, oof, gets under my skin in the best of ways.
Blow all the hot air you want. It won't change your fate. What are you doing? Don't write that. Tonight, we will
celebrate! We will praise the glory of the Fire Nation!
This guy's giving it his all. I like that they're playing up his ambition and also his ego a lot. Oh, shit. God, man, they nailed it. Let's go.
Gonna be some night, huh?
Nice.
Who's there?
Nice.
Include the full transcript of my speech, but change loyal to faithful. Sounds more personal.
Trying to control the narration and of his life. He's so focused on the.
Has escaped! There, on the wall! Don't let them get to the gate!
Nice. Yo, whoa! That was sweet. Oh, I'm loving this.
Take this! Drop on!
So close.
Hold your fire. I need the Avatar alive.
Open the gate! Sir? Do it! Now! Open gate!
Got a little ahead of yourself, didn't you, buddy? Trying to write your story before it's over. Just like you did with Zhao the Moonslayer. Ah!
Do you have a shot? Take him out.
Only they went for the eye holes. It's interesting when we parallel this whole infiltration of this impenetrable fortress. It makes me think back of how well that accentuates his problem with their plan and those earthbenders. They were trying to bait them out with their young recruits rather than trying to think of another way in.
Can I ask you something? Might be a little personal. Goat hair or rabbit? Your calligraphy brush. Your characters are so neat. I could never get mine like that.
Oh, talking about his journal.
I know I shouldn't have taken your notebook. I'm sorry.
I completely forgot about the notebook thing.
All the air nomad monks, they're all gone. So all I had was your notebook. Can't tell you how many nights I stayed up reading it. You helped me a lot. I mean, it helped me a lot.
Goat hair. It's stiffer, more control. My teachers made me practice every morning. I wasn't allowed to do any fight training until I had done 100 vertical strokes and 100 horizontal.
Me too. A lot of the time when I was supposed to be meditating, I was actually sleeping. I always got caught. Probably didn't help that I snored.
If I catch you, I can go home. Then I can take my place as the rightful heir to the Fire Lord.
And that's what you want? To be the next Fire Lord?
Yes. Of course, it's what everyone expects of me.
Yatta. He was my teacher. He said we can't worry about anyone else's expectations. I know, it's not that easy. I mean, I'm the Avatar. It's what everyone expects of me. All I do is worry about that. Maybe you don't have to be like the other firebenders. Maybe you could be better than them. You can show some compassion.
How dare you? I'm the crown prince of the Fire Nation. I will be the example for all firebenders. And my father is a great man. Compassion is a sign of weakness.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I have a feeling you've been hurt. More than enough.
Aww. This is a really good scene, man.
Prepare yourself.
I'm here to duel General Lee.
You're here because you have no respect for our military. My plans. My strategy. My military, that's what you have insulted.
Forgive me, Father. I meant no disrespect.
Rise.
No, please, Father.
Rise! Brother! Don't do this. He's your son.
We'll see.
Oof.
Rise and fight, Prince Zuko, so you can learn some respect.
Damn. He's only on the defense, though. Oh, I like that. I love that parting move. God. Hey, he's fighting back, though, this time. God. Oh, wow. He had him, but he hesitated.
Compassion is a sign of weakness.
Why did it look to me like he didn't want to be doing that either, though?
You know the worst part about being born 100 years ago? I miss my friends, like Kusan, Tears from the Fire Nation. If we knew each other back then, do you think we could have been friends?
Damn.
You should.
Man, we're almost done with this episode and we're still not back to deal with Ko and them.
Have you ever wondered how you and the others were assigned this mission? Now is not a good time.
I wish to speak with my son.
He's hurt.
He'll recover.
But he'll never heal.
Oh.
I've sheltered you. and it's made you soft like your mother. Well, since you seem unable to learn within the walls of this palace, perhaps the demands of the world outside will prove to be a better teacher. You will leave here immediately, and you are not to return until you have conquered the greatest remaining threat to our nation's destiny. You will find, capture, and bring me the Avatar. You are not to set a foot within our borders until this task is completed, under threat of the severest of penalties.
Ozai, you can't!
Brother, it's done.
Never mind, fuck what I said.
And since you're so concerned with the 41st Division, take them with you.
Oh, whoa, that's a cool addition. They were the people that were going to die. Instead, they got to live, but banished.
We are the 41st.
Nope, duh, no shit. Were you listening?
And you're all alive because of my nephew's sacrifice.
God, that's so good. That's good. I fucking love that.
I'm not going to ask you where you went. In the future, I would appreciate it if you let me know whether or not you're still alive. There actually are a few of us who care about such things.
Our prince has returned.
No. He does need to show them a little more compassion, though. Not that the fact that they are even here isn't a good example of it, but still. Everything Zuko does is put on a mask. And that's the title of the episode, Masks. Not just the blue spirit, but his face. This false strength, this anger, all of it is to shield his compassionate heart. Oh, look at it breaking. Oh, this is good. Whew. Same with him. All because showing your true self puts you in danger.
We'd travel incredible distances. Risk our lives.
Oh, no.
Even fight monsters.
Are we gonna do that right now? Or will we open the next episode with the conclusion of this scene? Okay, that was easy. That was a little underwhelming.
It can be scary to admit you need people. Some might see that as a weakness, a liability. After all, what greater pain is there than losing someone you love? Or worse,
Kiawentiio?
finding out
whoa,
someone
what the
you
hell?
love has left you behind.
Can we talk about it when I get back?
Of course.
Once I save my friends, we'll have more time.
But he knew he wasn't going to be here by the time he got back. But why? What happened? I'm confused. Did he decide to finally move on? He did what he needed to do? Oh, wow.
So he put on a mask. It's not hard to understand why. What's hard is knowing that sometimes the mask is who we really are.
Like Batman. Sorry. All right, man. As you probably noticed, this is a little bit later. I've kind of cleaned up. While we were running in towards the end of that episode, I was running short on time and had some errands to run, so I had to get up, hit the pause button, and dip out. So this, at least, to try to make sure everything was as fresh in my mind as possible, I waited to record this until after the edit so that everything was pretty much fresh in my mind, at least, as much as it could be. So hopefully we can still talk about everything I want to talk about in this. Overall, this episode was pretty solid, all things considered. You know, before we get too deep into everything, I do want to talk about a couple of my major hangups with it, and there's not that many in this. To be honest, I really don't care for the way that they included Roku or his role, let alone the way that he was represented. Characterization was so off, and the whole scene, aside from the way that he provided a counterbalance to Kyoshi, was a little clunky, let alone the entire involvement of the Fire Temple. You know, just using all of that to have it in here as this MacGuffin cleanup to the Ko situation they got themselves in, which we didn't even spend a lot of time even wrapping up by the end of it. We got Iroh's dialogue over top of it all, and then we just kind of, that was it. we're done. It really felt like that element that they set up at the end of the last episode, they really just wanted to get out of the way real quick because they already were cutting short on time since they focused heavily on this about capturing Aang and doing the whole Blue Spirit escape retrieval thing. All of that I thought was done really well. I thought they handled that great. The set piece was solid. The action, again, the action throughout this show has all been solid. I've really enjoyed the way they brought everything to life. It all looks so good. It's just like some of the pieces in between are just a little shaky. It's just minor critiques at the end of the day. And would I feel the same if I had never watched the show? I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna be pretty confident about this one at least. The Roku thing and the Fire Temple thing, all things considered, to me, felt so out of place and just weird. I loved all that stuff that they did with the escape, and they expanded upon the entire exchange with Zuko and Aang in a really beautiful way, especially tying things back to this notebook and how without, you know, everybody else to help him and not giving all of the world knowledge to the people around him, using Zuko's notebook as a way to kind of bring them together a little bit more intimately was a lot of fun, especially sharing this connection and maybe even some things that may be set up later. It could be used as a kind of a mechanism to do that. And their whole exchange was really great. The kid playing Zuko got to do a lot in this episode because this is where we get his backstory. That's where we get how he was burned, why he's on this ship, all of that jazz. Really dug all of that. I will say, I think consistently, at least for me, the entire way through the show, I can't think of a single Fire Nation centric thing I think is a miss. I feel like all of that, or at least the majority of it, has all been a value add. I love seeing the stuff with Ozai. I like seeing Azula's home life. Now, while she hasn't been on the front lines, while she wasn't out in the action in season 1, we know she was back there. You know, she was still doing what she's always been doing. We just get to see that here. They're teeing her up for her involvement later. I don't know if she's going to come in and actually get hands-on in this story. I still got 2 episodes still to go, but we just get to see what is happening while everybody else is out in the world doing their thing, while she's back at home living with her father, and how that is actually leaving this impression upon her. We get to just see a lot of those elements that, again, were left up to our imagination because the show does a lot of showing, not telling. We're getting to see how Azula becomes the Azula that we know. The fact that those behaviors are being reinforced, that these behaviors are being cultivated. We could presume as much from watching the show. There's so many implications of it and allusions to it, but here we're just straight up seeing it. And you could make an argument one way or the other. I personally feel like the way the show handled it, the animated series handled it, is much more tactful. But I do like seeing it. It does kind of give us this differentiation between the two. Everything with Iroh, with Zuko, his father, the war room meeting, and the way that was expanded, and then the way they actually added some lore to that, because we never actually get the origin of his crew. They're just his crew. Linking it to that meeting, to the people that were going to be sacrificed. That is the wildest thing that this has added, and I love it to death. That should be canon. You know, we talked about a couple of things that the original creators said that this show does, that they are incorporating, that they didn't before. I hope that's one of them, but I don't know how that would come up, considering that's all in the past, unless it comes up in like one of the Zuko-centric stories that they're working on. I really love the way that they handled it. But it's that very same thing that is incorporated here, because Zuko, again, because of the way that his father has influenced him and the way that he's trying to earn his honor back, get back in his father's good graces, prove that he is worthy of being his son and all these things, he's cultivated this mask. The theme of the episode is masks. The faces that we put on when we need to hide the true self beneath it. You know, whether it's Iroh trying to just survive, even though he disagrees with everything that's going on for the most part, he's just there to try to, because he cares for Zuko and he's trying to do his best within this system to make sure he doesn't make the same mistakes that he did growing up and protect him, unlike he was able to do with his own son. To Zuko having to bury his compassion, his feelings, to be strong or put forth a strong, at least visage. And he gets himself in a lot of situations where he tries to use that that mask, that presentation, and it just never really works because he doesn't have the power he necessarily pretends or thinks that he does, or projects that he does, and it always kind of bites him in the ass most of the time. You know, he's hard on his crew because that's what he thinks he needs to do, because one, they are also kind of linked to why he's in this situation to begin with, even though that fault is on himself. I'm sure part of him somewhere in there also kind of blames them for the situation, whether that's fair or not. And maybe that's one of the reasons he lashes out so much, because they're a constant reminder of his own failure. And the literal mask of putting on the blue spirit thing, because he can't be seen as himself, breaking out the Avatar from Zhao's captivity, because he needs to be the one to turn in Aang to get his life back. If Zhao does it, that doesn't help him at all. And then how much time we are wasting not being our true selves, and how we don't appreciate the little time that we do have, whether it's at home in our happy life with our mother, with our father, with our family before everything kind of falls apart, or situation like you get a moment with somebody after a long time away, but you don't know that that's the only time you got, and you may never see them again after this moment, and there's going to be things you wanted to say but never did, things you wanted to talk about but you never did, because you were too focused on whatever it is, the horizon rather than the now. On top of that, we also have that whole thing with June and her outlook on the world. We're getting to see different ways that the people kind of view the chaos that's going on, and how she uses that chaos to lift herself up in a life that keeps her out of all of it, but still getting food in her belly. You know, she's out there making ends meet and not beholden to anyone or the other. You know, we get to see a different perspective, because in her eyes, the world doesn't need to be saving. She's doing just fine. You know, and you get to see that kind of counterpoint with Aang, where he's just kind of being exposed to just the world itself, because he had never really been up until this point. And it's one of those things where he's got to wrestle with all these different elements. And I'm not just talking earth, wind, fire, all that shit. Like, it's the elements of the world, of society, of the people in it, and how they work, what they need. And it's really interesting that the way that all kind of played out. They also flipped that script on Iroh and her, kind of making her the one kind of coming on to him, making that a little less creepy. That is one of the few things, maybe even one of the only things from the original that kind of does make me go, a little bit sometimes, is that whole gag between those two. It was cute at the time. Looking back on it as an adult, I'm just like, But they flip that around a little bit nicely. It's just that this show does a lot of really good stuff. Like, there's a lot of really strong elements all throughout this show. You know, I think the best representation of how it took a lot of elements together that necessarily weren't originally connected and tying them together in a coherent and natural way was the third episode. That was beautifully done. You know, that was really, really well crafted. And now I feel like after that episode, everything does mildly feel like we're like, okay, we want to hit these things from the show, but we don't necessarily have the right bridges to get to these things. So in a way, we have a lot of great working building material, but the things holding the house together is just kind of like duct tape. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, a little bit of an extreme, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, there's a lot of really strong elements in the show, but there are, just as much as holding these things together, some not so great elements. With that said, though, with our long history of attempts to transition animation into live action, this is, in my book, a big success. I think they put in a lot of work. I do feel like they put in a lot of care and a love for the material. There are some decisions that definitely make me scratch my head a little bit, but I think for the most part, I don't find this to be the soulless thing I've seen a lot of people say it is. I really enjoy most of what they've done with it, but like I said, there are some things I just think are a little dumb here and there. But I feel like the good, for me, outweighs at least the bad that I've run into so far. But guys, I would love to know what you thought. How'd you feel about this episode? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're not already. Remember, if you want to see the full length reaction, you can check it out over on Patreon, or if you become a member of the channel, get you access as well. And speaking of before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Manny Sherritt, Ryan Karen, York Horscon, Melita, Robert Anguiano, Jeffrey Hell, Jake Cantrell, Eric Official, Casey Wood, Russell Crockett, and Justice Smith. Thank you guys so much for continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.